Welcome to Even Tacos Fall Apart, where we have conversations with experts and share personal stories to help navigate the complexities of mental health with compassion and empathy. I'm MommaFoxFire, and I am so glad you're here today. Before we get into today's episode, I want to take a second to acknowledge the time of year. We are rolling into June, and if you've been feeling a little off, you're not alone. School's out, routines are shifting, the days are longer, and for some people that means more freedom and fun. For others, it's overstimulation, disrupted schedules, too much togetherness, and not enough connection. Pride Month can also stir up a mix of emotions, especially for those who are navigating complicated family dynamics, identity struggles, or memories of being excluded or misunderstood in the past. If that's you, please be gentle with yourself and carve out space to breathe when you need it. Today's topic is all about communication in romantic relationships. And that sounds simple on paper, but it's one of the hardest things to get right. It's not just about saying the right thing. It's about knowing what you actually want to say, understanding your own needs, and being able to express them in a way that your partner can hear without the conversation blowing up into a fight or freezing into silence. Most of us didn't grow up with solid models of how to have hard conversations with people we love. Maybe we learned to keep quiet to keep the peace. Maybe we were taught that speaking up was rude or selfish. Maybe we went the opposite direction and only know how to communicate when we're at a boiling point. And then we get into adult relationships, and suddenly we're trying to navigate intimacy, emotions, responsibilities, triggers, and past baggage, all while trying to figure out what the hell our partner actually meant by that text. That's why I was really excited to talk with Nicole Richardson. She's a licensed professional counselor and marriage and family therapist in Texas. She specializes in working with couples, trauma, and addiction recovery, and she keeps it real. We actually recorded this interview back in 2021, but the insights are still incredibly relevant today. If anything, the last few years have made communication even more complicated between stress, burnout, isolation, and all the uncertainty we've lived through. So this conversation still hits hard. In our chat, Nicole and I talked about the difference between healthy and unhealthy communication, what happens when partners aren't hearing each other, how to handle conflict without going nuclear, and the importance of understanding your own emotions before trying to explain them to someone else. We also touched on some of the stuff you don't always hear in therapy conversations, like what happens when parents and adult kids try to shift their communication patterns, and why media examples of love and relationships can set us up with some pretty unrealistic expectations. So whether you're partnered, single, navigating co-parenting, or just trying to get better at talking with the people in your life, there's something in this conversation for you. All right, let's get into it. Here is my interview with Nicole Richardson, all about communication in romantic relationships. Happy Mental Health Monday, everybody. Welcome on in. Hey guys, how are y'all doing? Oh, so many people are first today. We got lots of firsts. Communication in relationships is relevant to my interests. So things are going amazingly with my gal pal, Autumn. I am so happy for you. So happy for you. Every picture that you post is just amazing. We are lucky enough to have a wonderful guest here tonight. This is Nicole Richardson. She's a licensed professional counselor supervisor and licensed marriage and family therapist supervisor in the great state of Texas, which I am also in. Having worked for a variety of Austin nonprofits and agencies, she started a private practice 8 years ago and specializes in trauma, couples in crisis, and chemical dependency recovery, and is passionate about helping people live the lives they want to live. I have some links for you. She has a website, she has an Instagram, she has a Facebook, and she has an e-course coming out also. Ooh, that was not a pretty post, but you can see where it links between, and I'll clean it up next time I post it for sure. So if you're interested in any of those, do you want to talk about your e-course right up front real quick?
Sure, yeah, we can totally do that and then talk about the stuff that everybody else wants to talk about. Literally any day now, I'll have it up on Teachable. It's a course for parents that want to talk to their kids about body and sexuality and drugs and other scary topics, but kind of just don't know where to start. So it really breaks down what to say and when in each sort of developmental stage, and how to talk about, you know, all the weird and awkward things that happen to somebody's body, and how to say no and all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's great. The description that you sent, which I did already post in Discord too, sounds fantastic. And as someone with kids, like those are hard topics to talk about with your kids. If you are uncomfortable with any of it, with any of that, those are all difficult topics. She's very quiet. Okay, all right. So let me adjust my volume down and your volume up, and that ought to get us where we need to be. Yeah. And then I can turn this up as well. Give me just a second. Okay, I've got that all the way up. Okay, that should be good. I know we need some sort of sing your ABCs song or something. Okay, it looks like it's hitting the right levels. There you go. So thank you so much for joining us today. Chat, we do have a question queue open. If you would like to ask a question, type !Q, enter your question, just put it into the chat, and then I will make sure that it gets asked. And as usual, this is not to be construed as personal counseling or anything like that. I am not a professional, and while our guest today is a professional, they are not your professional mental health professional. So make sure that you're not taking this as any sort of specific advice, but feel free to ask questions that will support you as you need to. We already have a question in here, and that is Bite Mark's question, which is, what is your favorite poem?
Oh boy. The first thing that comes to mind is Shel Silverstein's book, The Giving Tree.
Yeah.
So poetry was not my favorite medium of art growing up, but that's probably like the sweetest favorite thing that I think even as an adult, like I could still enjoy.
Yeah. That was a very, very good book, and very touching. And yeah, it's fantastic. It's a good one.
Yeah. Even now it's kind of, I don't know, it's nice.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. The Giving Tree makes me cry. I don't blame you for that. It's very, very, it like touches your soul. It's not just a sweet story. It's really got a lot of different meaning to it. Mm-hmm. Poetry can be confusing and unpleasant. Respect for not being into it. For sure. Yeah. Poetry is not everyone's thing. That's totally fine too.
There was like a test or something about, or like we did a unit, and even in college when we had to do like modern poetry, and you're supposed to interpret it. I feel like I never got it right.
Yeah. 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 The interpretation of poetry is not necessarily my thing, but I do have some poems that I do like, and that I do enjoy. And one of my favorite projects, actually, when I was in high school, I guess, this wouldn't have been college, but we had to write a new stanza for Canterbury Tales, and I loved doing that. It's a lot of fun.
Well, and I just finished Where the Crawdads Sing, and I thought it was interesting the way the author, and I don't want to spoil anything in the book, but I did think it was interesting the way the author incorporated poetry.
Yeah.
It was just a really interesting way to interweave it in the story.
Yep. Bite Mark said my favorite is Shel Silverstein as well, so no judgment here. Perfect. Yay. Perfect. Okay, so you moved around when you were a kid as part of an active duty military family. What was the most interesting place you lived in, or the one that gave you the most unique experiences? And then were there any places you really didn't like living?
I don't want to offend anybody's home. Both of my parents were raised in the South, in different parts of the South, but in the South. And so I think all of us were a little not as prepared when we moved to Alaska. I had never seen real snow before that. I feel like I had thought I had been cold before that, but I hadn't really been like cold before. It was beautiful and it was amazing, and I learned a ton there, and I don't ever want to live there again. It was beautiful. I'm happy to visit in like July, August. That is where I'm happy. But it's beautiful. I'm glad that I did it. I just don't think I ever want to do it again.
Yeah, that's quite a difference from south to Alaska.
Yeah. Similarly, we lived in Florida. So we moved from Alaska to Florida.
Oh, another gigantic change.
Not weird at all. And so the suburb we lived in, there was one middle school and one high school, and they actually they were on the same property. We were fenced off, so they kept us away from each other. But there was it was not a bad, like it wasn't a bad town, but across the street was the crack house. And every once in a while, between like maybe once a year, between classes, you'd come out, the bell would ring, and there would be like a SWAT team cleaning up the crack house.
Oh boy.
I mean, it's very like anytime you see in the news, like Florida man is bad or Florida woman is real bad. It's never a good story. Florida man saved boatloads of children. No, never.
Right.
So
right.
It was like I literally saw the best one I saw. Florida man takes warrant for his arrest and wipes his backside with it.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, just like right there in front of the police.
Yeah. I was also impressed that he could defecate on command. It was.
Yes. Yeah, no kidding. That's impressive or medically concerning. One of the two. Maybe both.
Those would be the most unique places I've lived.
Oh. Those are quite unique. I can't imagine living in Alaska. I don't like to be cold. It's like 65 or something outside right now, and I have on a sweater. So.
It's pretty something here, and I've got on my warmest sweater, and I'm inside with the heat.
Yes, so. Right. I'm inside with the heat in the warmest room in the house because this room has to stay warm because I have animals in here who have to stay warm, and so it's like I don't enjoy it. Definitely don't enjoy it. Fee said the thing I hate about poetry is when people in academia are like, interpret this, and then when you say what you think, they say you're wrong. It's like, okay, then don't tell me to interpret it.
Why did you ask if you knew the answer?
Yes, I agree with that, Fee, 100%.
Yeah.
Fun fact, the reason we have all those Florida man stories is not because there are more crazy people there, it's because their records, arrests, etc. are more accessible to the press than the average state. Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
That's neat, and maybe makes it less concerning? I'm not sure.
Oh no. Florida man, warrant for his arrest. I don't know.
Right?
I'm sure that happens in other places. I'm sure it does.
It's got to.
It actually seems like something that's totally plausible in Alaska as well, although not as feasible because you've got so many more layers on. True.
You would really have to strip down pretty quickly in order to get that done. Hey, more. Anyone else agree the guess is quite? Yeah, I have that turned all the way up as far as I can, so I'm not sure what else to do besides turn myself down more, and then you guys can turn your own volume up on your computers. It's probably you. Oh, well, maybe it is. I have no idea. Welcome on in, though. Can you tell us a little more about your experiences and what made you become interested in specializing in mental health?
Ooh, so that I feel like is a little bit of a story, I guess. When I was probably 10, decided to be an attorney. Hi.
Yeah, go back to bed, baby. You got wild hair. Hey, bed. Okay, go eat a banana and then go back to bed. I love you. Sorry about that.
It's okay. I get hungry sometimes before bed too. I don't blame it.
Yeah.
I decided when I was not much older than him that I wanted to be an attorney, because I foolishly thought that attorneys helped people. It's not my fault.
At that age, I mean, at that age, that seems like an okay assumption.
My grandfather and I were very close, and he was a judge, and so between him and his friends, that was the attorneys I knew. And it wasn't until my junior year of undergraduate when I kind of accidentally double majored in psychology, because I just kept taking more and more psych classes. And in my behavioral psych class, I read a book called Choice Theory by William Glasser. And I thought, oh, I don't want to go to law school. I want to do this. And so that's the short version of how that started.
You're very cool. It's I think that some lawyers could help people. They could be helpful for sure.
Yep. It is possible.
Yes, absolutely.
It happens.
We have another community question. This one's from Fee. She sent it ahead of time. So what is your day-to-day experience like as a therapist, and what was your experience like when you were in school to become one?
So I'll start with school. So I self-funded my education. So finding the right graduate program was interesting. I probably shouldn't say the name of the university, but there's a university that I wanted to attend. They didn't have the exact program I wanted, but I really wanted to go there. And so I called them. Most graduate programs will have like a meet and greet, come meet our faculty night, to kind of sell you on their very, very expensive education. And so I called them to be like, when's that? Mm-hmm. I want the sales pitch.
Yes.
And I just chatted with the woman on the phone a little bit, and she said something about, we don't have evening classes and we don't have weekend classes, and and I said, well, what about students that have to work while they're in school? And she said, we don't want part-time students, we want full-time students.
Oh.
And I was mad. And I said, well, I guess you want my money then. And kept it moving. So I ended up at the right university for me, but it took me a little bit longer to graduate because I did work full-time while I was juggling coursework. So I guess that's what my school part was like. The last year was pretty intense. So I picked, in mental health, you have kind of two types of programs sort of to pick. There's sort of a research, and then there is kind of a hands-on or a more clinical degree. And that's really what I wanted. I wanted to graduate. I had all these delusions of grandeur. I thought, if I graduate with experience, it will be easier to find a job. And that might have been true had I not graduated during a recession.
Yeah.
So it was hard to juggle a full-time job, courses, and then for about 11 and a half months, my practicum or residency program. That was super fun. What my day-to-day is like as a therapist, I think in some ways it's a lot like any other job. I go to work, I work while I'm there, and I leave. I think something that's different is, I can't shoe shop, right? Like if you're having kind of like my dad used to use the word fiddle fart a lot. If you're having one of those like fiddle fart days and you're not really in work, and something I used to do at an old crappy job was, oh, you can go shopping.
Yeah.
Well,
hop on Twitter.
There you go. Yeah. I can't do that. So it does mean that at the end of my days, I'm usually pretty tuckered out because there isn't a lot of room for mental fiddle fart.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. Are there things about your job that you absolutely love and things about your job that you maybe not hate, but really strongly would rather not have to do?
So the part that I love is getting to watch people really sort of step into themselves and step into their autonomy and really learn about what they want for themselves, and then do it. That's hands down the best part of my job, and it happens a lot, which is great. The worst part, there might be a tie for the worst part. My dad is a doctor, and he used to joke, they don't teach you how to do business in doctor school. Well, the same is true in therapist school. They don't teach you how to run your own business. They don't teach you how to, I literally took one class, and it was my only elective in graduate school was private practice.
Wow. And it was an elective.
It was an elective, yeah. And my professor was amazing, but in one semester, when you really don't know what you're doing, it's like trying to take a sip of water from a gushing fire hose. Yeah. And you're like, wait, she said what? I don't understand. She gave us an article about how to write a will and how to tell your clients that you're dying. And I was in my late 20s, early 30s when she passed this out. I'm like, I don't need this. I still have it. And I have referred back to it because a colleague of mine actually died in a car accident not that long ago. Oh, and it's so sorry. This is why we have professional wills. This is why we have medical power of attorney or medical practice power of attorneys. And it was one of those things where you're like, oh, that's why she told us that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like you don't plan on graduating during a recession. You don't know what's going to happen.
Absolutely. 100% true. Hey, Frost. Hey, Unstoppable. How are you today? Bite said, this is the kind of real talk we need. Absolutely. Fee said, in relation to that school you were talking about, is we don't like to accommodate poor people. That is the truth. That is, I think you're spot on there. That is what they were trying to say. I have no doubt.
Turns out my money's just as green, even though I'm poor. So
yep, absolutely. Listen, it spins the same, if not a little bit, just a little bit faster.
I was happy to give it to a completely different university. Bite me school, I won't say.
Yep, absolutely. Fee has a question. She says, where did it go? I just had it. Do you have any advice or insight for someone interested in pursuing a career as a therapist that you don't think is widely known or that you don't think you'd get elsewhere?
Oh, there's so much. Okay. So every time I go and speak to therapy school students or people that are getting ready to graduate or just graduated, so in almost every state that I'm aware of, basically the way it goes is you go to school, you pass a board exam, you get a provisional license, and then you have to get a clinical supervisor while you complete that provisional license, all the requirements for that provisional license in order to get fully licensed. Something I wish someone had told me was you can start with whatever supervisor you want to start with, and then you can change supervisors. And it doesn't have to be that they weren't good or you didn't like them. I always tell people that are starting to work with me that you might think when you start, I want to specialize in trauma, for example. And then maybe 6 months to 12 months in of working with trauma, you go, I don't want to do it anymore. And you decide you want to specialize in sand tray, which is actually a trauma technique, but I can't think of anything else. Then go find a supervisor who specializes in that. And it doesn't have to be like a breakup. It doesn't have to be this stressful, dramatic thing. You can just go find somebody who can help you walk through that thing you want to do. And that's totally fine. I think that's probably my things I wish I had known.
That's perfect. Yeah. They'd be excluding disabled people with that nonsense as well. That's a good point too, Autumn, for sure. That school. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So what are some of your favorite hobbies, and do you draw any distinctions between what you consider a hobby and what you consider self-care, and where or how do you draw that line?
I think that hobbies are part of self-care, but they're not it's not all of self-care. So I don't love going to the dentist, but that is part of self-care. Like, I don't love that at all. But it is an element of taking care of myself, just like going to bed at a decent hour, occasionally eating something green that isn't covered in sugar. I like all of that is included in self-care. What are some of my favorite hobbies? I really like to read, particularly fiction. I like hiking. I live in a very green space, and so as much as I can, I try to go outside. I really like to cook. I don't know how gifted I am at it, but I really enjoy cooking. And I've recently started to bake things that taste edible, which is a big step forward for me. I really feel like baking is a lot more science, where cooking is so fudgeable. Like, you can play a lot more. There's a lot more freedom in cooking. Where baking, it's like, oh, I don't make biscuits. I make flat discs, but they taste good. They look terrible, but they taste good. So that, I really like photography as well. Yeah, that's probably enough.
Yeah, baking is very much science for me, because it's like, if you get one thing a little bit off and it's something like baking soda, it's not gonna rise right at all in the oven. But yeah, Bite said it's chemistry for sure. A little bit of magic, yes. Fee said it's very much science. I agree. And then cooking is more like, what do the stars tell you today? We're gonna do it this way, and like, it'll probably turn out edible with cooking, but not with baking.
Or what's in the pantry? The cooking, like, what's in the pantry? I can make some stuff.
Yes.
Baking, no.
Very much true. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the dentist either. Those are the things that it's kind of a necessity. You have to do it. I have some things that drive me to the dentist because I have a couple of fake teeth that if one of them breaks, I'm just without a tooth and I have to go, get it glued back on. So it's kind of, I get forced to go. If I wasn't forced to go, I honestly don't know that I would. Even though I make my kids go. I don't want to go.
Do as I say, not as I do.
I know. I'm like, listen, I'm at the dentist more than you are because I have to take your sibling.
I have a fear of my teeth falling out. Like, I'm not afraid of like other people's dentures, but like, I really don't want dentures like at all. And the idea of like what I'd have to go through in order to get to dentures.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I'll let the mean lady tell me how to floss for the teeth time.
Right.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, having had dentures since high school, I can tell you that it's not fun. Like, it's not a fun thing. It's not a fun thing to have to deal with every day.
Oh. Well, and again, it's the process of having everything come out to have to put those in. Yeah. The dentures themselves, I think I can handle. It's the excavation work.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
I had all 4 of my wisdom teeth were impacted, and I don't remember this, but I do think it's a funny story. My mom said when I was coming out of anesthesia, because they had described to me that they come at you with like a chisel and they chisel it off of your bone. And so my mom said that when I was coming out of anesthesia, I was sitting up going, this is a barbaric practice. I can't believe we still do this to humans. This is so ridiculous. I can't believe you did that to me.
Agree. I agree with that. Oh my gosh. That makes me cringe so hard.
I don't know if that's true, but that's what someone told me.
I don't know. Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense. I only had one. So I was born without 5 teeth, and 3 of them were wisdom teeth and 2 of them were not. And those are the 2 that I have to have the dentures for. But I had to have the other one removed because it was throwing off the whole balance of my mouth. And so I had that one removed. They didn't describe it to me that way, and I'm thankful that they didn't describe it to me that way.
I'm pretty sure my mother is the one that told me about the chisel, because she didn't have anesthesia. And she was like, oh, we're giving you anesthesia. She was like, I didn't have that, and you want that. I think she
absolutely.
had or something. So that was one of my senior gifts. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Fee said, dentists are so judgy, and I have anxiety and a severe guilt response to being told I'm doing something bad, so I hate going and haven't been in years. To be honest, the tools have come really far, but the practice of dentistry hasn't really changed all that much. It is barbaric. That's also a good point. Yeah. I know. I'm over here like, I have a sweater on and I'm shivering.
It's a cringy shiver. It's not a.
It is. Yes, it really is.
Not a cool breeze situation.
So, I guess you could say this might be related to dentists in some way, because there have been some good dentist ones, but do you have a serial killer or true crime story that fascinates you?
I don't think I have one that fascinates me, no. I think I have a love-hate relationship with all the true crime stuff. I think sometimes it can be done very well and tastefully. I think our obsession with it has a lot to do with like trying to find the boogeyman, and in some weird way it's going to make us feel safer to know like, well, they caught that guy. Yes, and I do try to really encourage people to be mindful of how much that kind of stuff they take in. Yeah. So no, I don't have a favorite boogeyman.
I enjoy a lot of those stories just to kind of hear the backgrounds of people who commit these atrocities and what they went through in their lives and kind of what led them to that. And some of them have a very clear, like, okay, well, if these things hadn't happened in your childhood, maybe you wouldn't have gotten there. And then sometimes there's not that. Like, sometimes it's just completely like, we don't know. We don't know why you did this. And I think it's the mystery and the little bit of like behind the scenes kind of thing. I like it when they catch the bad guy. There's not enough catching the bad guys in real life, in daily life. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I think with those kinds of stories, one part of the appeal is that there is a clear bad guy. And with serial killers, especially the idea of like, you know, the boogeyman hiding in the dark, and then the victim or victims that didn't have it coming, where something like Snapped, for example, you know, they usually tell the victim's story and then talk about how the detectives like figured out who they were killed and why. And a lot of times those stories are a bit more gray. It's not as black and white as it can feel with a boogeyman. Yeah,
I agree. So switching gears a little bit to talk about kind of our topic a little bit deeper tonight, we were talking about communication and relationships. So communication is critically important in life, just generally speaking. If you're not communicating in almost any job you're in, something bad is going to happen, unless you're a mime, although I guess you're still communicating, just not verbally. Can you talk a little bit about healthy versus unhealthy communications in relationships?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's hard to define, like what that exactly looks like. I think anything that includes name calling, criticism, you know, any sort of like intentionally making someone feel lesser or less than or smaller. I might even say that a lot of ineffective communication is unhealthy. The definition of effective versus ineffective communication: effective communication, message sent equals message received, which is actually really hard, but everything else is ineffective. And so in the absence of information, we have a tendency as humans to fill in the gaps, and we make assumptions, and those assumptions aren't usually, well, she meant well. She's so delightful and she's so nice to me all the time, so I'm sure she meant that I'm swell. It's usually something quite a bit more hurtful than that. So that's really where the danger in ineffective communication comes in really fast. So I don't know that I have a very clean definition of like healthy versus unhealthy, because even in different situations and in different relationships, what's appropriate in one relationship is wildly inappropriate in another relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and just thinking about it as sometimes the lack of communication is okay. Sometimes the lack of communication is a sign of something that's unhealthy also, kind of thing. And it totally depends on the relationship. I know if one of my kids isn't talking to me, and this is not a romantic relationship by any stretch, but I mean, I love them, but
Not like
you know,
that.
you're right. So if my youngest isn't talking to me, he's probably fine. He's just in his own little world because he has a bubble. But if my 14-year-old isn't talking to me, I know that there is something that I need to address there. And I feel like it's the same in a lot of relationships as well, where it depends on your partner's communication style too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. My best friend is an internal processor. She's very introverted. And so there will be things that are really upsetting and hurtful to her, and I won't hear about it for weeks. Not because she's trying to shut me out or keep me out of it, but she wants to really sit with it before she talks about it with anybody. And it's very rare, and it's only been a handful of times when she was like in it and unable to keep her shit together, that she was like, Mayday, 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 now. And even then she didn't want me to talk. She just wanted me to sit there and eat ice cream or whatever, right? Watch movies with her. It was really not a time to talk for her.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody's different, but I do think though that maybe even in or particularly in a romantic relationship, if you're an internal processor, if you're an introvert and you need a minute, it's just as important to tell your partner, I want to talk about it and I can't yet. We're gonna talk about it and I'm gonna try tomorrow.
You're right.
But I can't right now. And I think that's something that sometimes we, whether we're angry or we're sad or we're scared, sometimes we don't, and I'm an introvert, sometimes we don't give to our partners. And again, in the absence of information, we have a tendency to make assumptions. And so if I just get quiet, my partner can very easily feel shut out, ignored, rejected. And that's often not the intention at all. And so all it takes from me is to say, my head is spinning, I can't think straight, I want to talk this out with you, and I can't yet. Can we try tomorrow? Can I try in 2 hours? Can you give me a minute?
Autumn said, I try not to think of which partner was right or wrong in a relationship. It's more a matter of whether the dynamic is healthy or not. That's a very good point. Sometimes I just want someone to come over and eat Oreos on the same couch. Yes. Yes.
Only if they're double stuffed.
Ooh, double stuffed Oreos are good. Those are very good. The only ones that I like better than that, and I can only have like one at a time, are the white chocolate covered Oreos.
Oh.
That they come out with around Christmas sometimes, some years.
Yeah.
And they're very sweet. So I can have like one and that's it because it's too sweet.
Yeah, I can't keep Oreos in the house. I think I try not to buy them more than once or twice a year because I will eat a sleeve a day until they're gone.
Yes. Well, they make those packs that are like the four different ones, right?
But like, why would you do that?
I don't know.
But why?
Yeah, thin Oreos only. Uh-oh. Hang on. You can have the thin Oreos and we'll eat the double stuff. It's fine. It works out. Somebody's got to eat the thin ones. It's all good. Bite Mark said you can come eat Oreos with me. Double stuff is my jam. There you go. We're having Oreo buddies in the chat for sure. Double stuff for unbalanced. Listen, Fee, there's your Oreo partner right there. Joe is your Oreo partner. Oh, I love it. Fee has another question. She says, do you think there are certain acceptable in media or to the masses communication traits that are always unacceptable, no matter what the relationship is, like constant ribbing, even in just as an example?
I think that's a great example. Now, to clarify the question, does she mean in social media or in relationships? I don't know if I fully understood the question. Sorry.
So she said no matter what the relationship is. So I think that it's probably any relationship, whether that's romantic relationship or something different.
I mean,
I think social media as well.
I'm a joker. I'm a teaser. I like to laugh. But if all I do with any relationship is make fun or rib or tease, I'm really missing a lot of opportunities to ask for what I want and to praise the other person, whether it's a romantic or a platonic relationship. Also, it's hard to set boundaries, and I'm really sensitive. So if all I do is tease, then I really shouldn't expect to get anything but teasing back. And I'm gonna get real feisty if you push one of my buttons. So yeah, I mean, I think teasing is bad if it's all the time. I think. Yeah, I mean, I think a little bit of vulnerability in any real relationship is necessary. Like the person that I'm stuck in an elevator with probably doesn't need to know that my dog just died. Like that doesn't seem appropriate. But I should probably tell some people in my life. Like somebody needs to know what's going on with me. I hope I'm answering her question. I don't know if I fully understood it.
Yeah, she said seen as acceptable in media, but present in any relationship. So something that you might see in a show or a movie or something like that, that isn't actually, that is kind of typically portrayed, but isn't actually something that is very healthy in a relationship. I'm
trying to think. Maybe I don't watch enough TV. I guess, so I think with a lot of reality television, there's a big obsession with like appearance and stuff and that kind of thing. And I obviously I feel like that's a problem. We're turning all of this off at some point and really just sitting on the floor and playing Legos with your kids or going for a walk with your partner and asking them how their day was. I don't know that we see a lot of that on TV or in media. And I think asking for what we need and then having I'm going to use the word confrontation, but confrontation doesn't have to be mean or spiky. It can be very gentle and loving. So confrontation doesn't have to be like, you did not do the dishes and I'm thinking about murdering you in your sleep because I just watched 10 episodes of Snapped and apparently that's a problem. So I think, yeah, I mean, I don't think it always has to be a gotcha either. And maybe I feel like I see, oh, that's something else that makes me nuts. This idea of the rom-com relationship. That or Cinderella, she rides off into the sunset and it's happily ever after. Sorry, boo. The minute you say I do is when you actually start to do the work. That's when shit gets real. So I think those are probably things that I see in media that we were all sold a bill of goods. Also, slightly unrelated but not, I think that we were also taught in Disney movies that there's a concept of happiness, that I can reach happiness and just stay there. And that is also not a thing. One of my favorite songs, the chorus goes, it's easy to bitch, easy to whine. It's harder to work, harder to try, hard to be glad to be alive. It's a lot of hard work to be happy.
Absolutely. He said, like how some people think making racist jokes is okay because they don't hate Black people, but actually racist jokes aren't okay. I'm wondering if there's communication stuff in relationships that's like that, where the people in the relationships don't mind, but actually those things aren't okay. To clarify, you're doing a good job answering this question. I'm just addressing your comment about not being sure if you're answering it right. Yeah. Okay. So, right. Yes.
And I think there's some real, I think there's, and it might've been her too that made the point about like, different relationships with different dynamics. I'm trying to think. So I'll just use the example of my best friend again. I don't expect her to tell me every damn thing. I just don't. I don't expect her to tell me about her last meal, and she doesn't expect me, like, and that's part of our dynamic. where I have another friend who, you know, wants to know every time I buy a new outfit. and that's just part of our dynamic, and that's fine. Like, every dynamic is a little bit different. And so in a romantic relationship, the same is true. And so you almost imagine setting sort of like your own mini culture, if you will. This is what we do when we're thorny with each other. This is what we do when we're horny with each other. And these are the signals we get off. We send off when we're in those different places.
Yeah. Bite said, I hate rom-coms where one person says no and the whole relationship is the other person ignoring consent and keeping pursuing them. Yeah, and then the happy ending is that it works. Bullshit. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's there's I don't remember who, someone shared it in Discord, I think, but there was a post of someone saying my nephew was was really upset that this girl said no, and I asked my nephew, I said, well, you know what to do now, right? And he said, I know, try again. And she said, no, you stop and you move on and you do something different. And that's it. And like, no one had told this kid, I'm assuming kind of teenage age person, that if they say no, it's not that you're going to get another chance. It's that you need to not pursue anymore. Like, be friends. Yes.
And that's, I will say, I mean, that's one of the things in my e-course, because we don't actually teach our kids how to date. We don't teach them like, hey, if someone doesn't like you, that doesn't mean that you're not likable.
Yes.
And if you don't like someone who likes you, how do you handle that?
Mm-hmm.
How do you shut them down and you know, set your boundaries and make yourself clear without feeling like, well, I'm being mean? Nope. It's better for them if they know you're not into it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. How different my life would be if I was taught how to date. That would be completely different. Completely. It would be completely different. Yes.
Same.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah. My dad's big advice was keep the boys at your pants and life will be fine. Genius. Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember, I don't remember my parents, and I have great parents, great relationship with them. I'm not very many complaints other than like typical teenage angst type stuff at the time. But I don't remember them really saying anything about how to date or anything. I don't remember any of those conversations. However, my memory is complete shit. So there's also that.
So I got the sex talk from my surgeon father, who brought home medical journals complete with diagrams and explained it to me very clinically. And then my dating advice was, as long as you keep the boys out your pants, you'll be fine. You can't date until you're 16.
Okay. Thanks, Dad.
Okay. Yes.
Unlearning compulsory heterosexuality. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. My dad said boys are all dumb. I think a lot of dads say that. I have a feeling that those kinds of comments came also. Yeah. However, the one thing that I will say that my dad did really well was when I had my first major breakup, he was like, let's go to the movies. And then he took me to eat at the Chinese food place that I really liked. And like, that was it. He's like, do you need to talk? No, let's just go see a movie. That's it. It's going to be fine.
That is so wonderful.
Yeah, so I don't remember him saying anything in particular about dating advice, but he handled things very well.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. Bet you know which place that was. Yeah, it's Ton's Palace in Lancaster, Texas. I don't know that they're still open because I'm sure COVID hit them pretty hard, but if they are still open, it's wonderful. It's a good place. Are there some signs that typically point to a lack of communication in a bad way that folks should take note of in a relationship?
Excuse me. Yeah, when you don't feel heard. When you don't feel heard and or your partner is like, you don't get it. You don't get it. You're not hearing me. You don't get it. That's a huge red flag. So in trauma, a lot of times people will kind of get stuck on a story, right? And part of that is because they haven't been able to metabolize or move that story on for themselves. And so they kind of get stuck in this loop. when a couple is looping and your partner keeps saying the same thing to you over and over again, it's because they don't feel heard. They don't feel understood. And one of the things that I run into a lot with couples is if Mama Fox and I are talking and she keeps saying the same thing to me, and I might think that I understand her. And so I keep trying to move the conversation on and go, yeah, I heard you. Obviously, I'm missing something, or she wouldn't have to keep saying it to me. And that's a big one in relationships. When somebody's saying the same stuff over and over and over again, it's because they're not feeling heard. And that's a big one. A lot of problems can get solved if you just feel like your partner gets it. I don't have to give you everything. I can't meet all your needs. I can't give you everything you want. But if I get where you're coming from, that is a huge step in the right direction.
Is there a way to acknowledge to your partner that you do hear and understand them? Is there a good, reliable way to make it say, I hear you, I understand you, even if you don't have like the perfect response at that moment?
Yeah, I think, what I hear you saying is, and check to make sure you're right. What I hear you saying is that you're really frustrated that I haven't picked up my clothes off the floor in a week. Is that right? What I hear you saying is you feel like I come home every day and I don't ask you about your day, and I just want to unload about mine. Is that right?
Yeah.
You don't even have to tell them that you agree or that you see it their way, but let them know that you hear them by saying it back, and saying it back without editorializing or adding your judgment. Just say, like, this is what I hear you say. Is that right?
Yeah, that's a good one, because you don't have to then say, okay, agree, I'm going to change, like whatever. It's just, right. I hear you. It's just saying, I hear and understand you.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is,
I might not be willing to pick up my clothes. Maybe that's where we're at.
Those socks are going to stay there.
That's where they go.
Right. I'm going to wear them again tomorrow. That's what my sock pile is. Those are I'm going to wear those again tomorrow socks.
Well, we're home a lot. Okay. All right.
Yes, we are. Well, I don't wear socks if I go out. I wear flip-flops almost all the time. So the socks are just the fuzzy, like under my desk socks.
I'm so weird about socks and underwear. Like, if you want to change them 3 times a day, I would rather do that laundry than have you put socks back on.
I'm with you on the underwear.
Yes. Kind of anything that touches like a smelly, sweaty part, let me just wash it for you.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Joe says never wear socks 2 days in a row. I listen. People have differences.
Oreos.
Like the Oreos, okay? So what are some ways to encourage and improve honest communications within a relationship?
So I think that there's 2 really hard parts to good communication. First is understanding myself. I can't effectively communicate what I want, think, need to you before I understand it myself. And I think a lot of times when people get flustered and upset, they have a hard time asking for what they need and getting what they need, because they haven't always named for themselves, like, this is what I really need. One of my clients today, it's a long story, had a conflict with his mom, and she lost her mind. And her apology was okay. She sent him a text message and essentially kind of said, I'm sorry, but, which is kind of shitty. And instead of saying, hey, I was going through a hard time, and taking responsibility for it, and then saying, what I really need from you is, she kind of said, I'm sorry, but.
Yeah. Which
just kind of undoes the I'm sorry bit.
Yep.
So I think step 1, really understanding what it is that I need. What if I'm angry, what's really pissing me off about this? Like it's probably not the socks, right? It's probably that I get anxious when there's just stuff everywhere, or I feel disrespected when you don't pick up and you know I'm going to do it, or whatever, right? But get really clear on what that is with you, and then approach your partner about, hey, this happened. It made me feel this way. Can we talk about a better path forward? So Gottman, Gottman, talks about, I feel, I want, I need. I feel like you're disrespecting my time and our relationship when you leave clothes all over the floor. I really want to feel like I matter to you. I want to feel like our home matters to you. I want to feel like I'm not going to trip on your chonies because they're not all over the floor. I need you to help me and figure out a way that we can do this together.
Yeah. And going back to the apology piece of that, I think one of the things that I used to get really twisted on was that if I apologize, I'm admitting that what I was upset about doesn't matter. And lots of therapy. long time ago, lots of therapy with my ex helped me understand that, like, you can apologize for a reaction without saying the situation was okay. And so I think that that's a distinction that I didn't realize I was not making in my head. Like, I was like, no, if I apologize, then I'm wrong. And it's not that I was wrong or he was wrong even. Like, it was just the reaction was out of line. Apologize for the reaction part. And then you can talk about whatever the issue is without having that looming over the issue. Which I've had to do with my kids also. Like, if I get over the top upset about something and yell, which I very rarely raise my voice at them, unless it's like to yell across the house, because I do that every day. They just can't hear, you know.
Look, there's no such thing as a perfect parent, a perfect fur mom. There's no such thing. And so sometimes you're going to handle a shit situation bad.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But you can still say sorry, especially to your kids. I feel like a lot of people who are probably my age and older, I think that if you're still not quite in your 30s, you probably understand this a little bit better. But once you hit your 30s, and I'm mid 30s, so once you're in that age range and older, not that it's an age thing, it's kind of a generational thing, but a lot of parents you know what I'm trying to say. I'm going to stop trying to explain that part.
Lots of humans don't think they need to apologize, but especially not to children.
Yes, right, because they're the children and they are subordinate somehow, or they don't matter as much somehow, or and so it's really difficult if you didn't grow up with a parent who was like, no, you matter. The way I reacted was wrong. Whatever this, I'm listening to you. If you didn't grow up with that, it's hard to then instill that into yourself as a parent to put into place too. So that's a challenge as well.
Well, and then the hypocrisy of, I won't apologize to you, but you better apologize to me.
Oh yeah.
Even though you're broken, and it's my job to teach you how to be a human.
Yeah. Why should I apologize to the free labor? Listen. That's a good question, Joe.
Because you want them to because they're picking out your nursing home. That's why.
Ooh, true. That's a good point. That is a good point.
They decide when you get unplugged.
Yeah, right. Bites, it sounds like those socks are where a basket should be to me. I'm working on finding more efficient ways to solve the issue I am encountering, though, so maybe that's just me. That's definitely an approach. Definitely an approach there to try to say, well, you put your socks here. That's where a basket goes. We have another community question. Sophie says, do you think there are things in relationships that you shouldn't communicate? Also related, if you have something small that bothers you, is there a criteria for whether you should speak up or speak out or keep the peace? That's a good question.
Well, I worry about if it's bugging you. Like here's a thought. If today's Monday, I think, right?
Indeed.
If it was like, if you found it irksome today and you think, I don't really want to take this to my partner, this feels small, and the next day you wake up and you totally forgot about it, then yeah, let that one go. But if you wake up the next day and you're going, I'm still annoyed about this, then I wouldn't keep letting it go, because at some point it can turn into like death by a thousand cuts, where I kept letting it go, and this was you left a fork in the sink, and now it's World War III, and I'm going to list 80 other things that you did that you had no idea I've been pissed about for 2 weeks. That's not fair either. So if you feel like it's small and you think, I probably won't be bothered by this tomorrow, great. Then check in with yourself the next day. If you're still bothered by it, bring it up. If it was, I'm in a crappy mood and I'm looking for a problem, which totally happens.
Oh yeah.
I don't think you need to bring it up. I think she was also asking about, are there things you shouldn't bring up?
Yeah. So things you shouldn't communicate. So do you think there are things in relationships that you shouldn't communicate?
I don't necessarily think that there are things that you should not communicate. I think that there are, in every relationship, there are different expectations. So if I'm thinking about, I think the context of the question is romantic relationships.
Yes.
I think being mindful of how you communicate it. For example, if we've been dating 6 months and I have done a deep dive on your social media and I want to know who that bitch Carol is, I need to be really careful about how I bring it up to you. If it's really nagging at me, and she posted 3 months ago and we've been together for 6 months, I need to be thoughtful and respectful about how I bring that up, and not accuse my partner of, obviously he or she has done something wrong. So I think saying something, again, using the I feel, I want, I need. I feel like this person might really mean something to you. I want to check in about what she is in your life. I need to know that I'm your priority, or something like that. So I think I wouldn't say that there are things that you absolutely should not bring up. I'm sure that there are exceptions to that in each unique relationship. But I think what's more important than just not talking about certain topics is being thoughtful about how you bring stuff up. It's rarely what you say, it's far more often how you say it.
Yeah. Another question from chat. Autumn says, any tips for broaching a difficult subject for those who are extremely conflict averse?
Yes. Write it out. Really journal the shit out of it. And really boil it down to, what are the most important facts, right? Fact, it's Monday. Fact, the sun came up. And then talk about how those facts impacted you. And while you're journaling it out, really let yourself vent and have a cathartic experience. And then again, I really do I feel, I want, I need, because you're talking about your stuff, and it gives you an opportunity to be vulnerable. I feel, I want, I need. And if your partner is really in it with you, not to say that what you say with I feel, I want, I need can't upset them or get them going, but it is much harder than if you come in hot with, you did this and I'm mad at you, and I don't know if I can be in this relationship. I feel, I want, I need can just help keep things calmer and more less critical or criticism based, and more constructive.
Yeah. Do you recommend scheduling a time for a difficult subject, maybe if you're like, I want to talk to you about something, I want to write it out, and then let's talk about it tonight or something like that. I'm just thinking the conflict averse piece, like, I guess it depends on the individual, right? If you don't want to agonize over it all day and you just want to get it out and talk about it, then the goal might be to keep it calm in the moment. If you're like me and you would rather have everything thought out completely, delaying it sometimes is a little bit more helpful. But I guess the conflict, is there anything for the avoiding the conflict piece that you would recommend?
I mean, to me, that's really about managing your own anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's tricky about, so it's currently 9:37 my time. I think if you told me, Nicole, I would like to have a difficult conversation with you tomorrow over dinner, I wouldn't sleep tonight. My anxiety would go bananas.
Right.
Now, if that is what you need for yourself, if you've decided I'm going to make her a nice dinner and we're going to sit down and talk, and that's when I'm going to broach this really hard topic, great. But don't tell me that.
Yeah, that's also good. That's a good point too.
Tell me you want to have dinner with me and you want to spend time with me, and you want to connect. Great. Don't tell me there's stuff we have to talk about. I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to have terrible stomach ache. I'm going to show up to your house an hour early. I might be crying, and I'm going to be ready and edgy for a fight because I didn't sleep last night, and you said we have to talk.
Yeah.
So if setting a time is helpful to you, that I think that's fine, but just again, be really thoughtful about how you deliver that to the other person.
I know a bit. One I work on is asking if it's a good time to touch on something and to try to continue having ongoing consent for the conversation. That's a great point too, Autumn.
Yes. Taking breaks is really important.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something big, if it's something big, the socks on the floor, it's rare when couples are in my office talking about mess, they're almost never actually fighting about what they're fighting about. Mm-hmm. Right? So when we have these big overarching themes, right, when it's, I don't feel respected, or I don't feel cared about, or I don't feel seen and understood by you, it's unlikely that you're going to, in one conversation, make me feel respected or seen and understood in one conversation. And so it's probably necessary to have a series of conversations and not just one conversation. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk this out now, and then we're going to check in maybe in a day or two, or I'm going to get really heated and tell you, I can't really think straight, and I can't really hear you and engage in this conversation constructively anymore. I need an hour. I need to take a shower and see you in the morning, or whatever that looks like, depending on how upset you are. Yeah. The most important thing with taking breaks and pausing a conversation is not to just yell, I'm done, and run out the door, because that leaves the person behind just spiraling in anxiety. Yeah. The most important thing is to say, I really need a break. Let's try to pick this up in 2 hours, or let's try to pick this up tomorrow, so that I can really hear you, because right now I can't.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Maybe you could schedule regular check-ins. Like on Fridays, we have time set aside for any big topics that have come up. That way it's scheduled, but hopefully doesn't carry the we need to talk dread. And it could be good stuff too. Yeah, absolutely. I like that. I like that suggestion, because then it's like, we're just going to talk about anything big that we need to talk about. And if it's that, hey, I really love you this week, that's a good thing too.
You did such a good job with those socks.
I noticed they're all in the basket and you didn't wear them more than once. And you got the double stuffed Oreos. You're on a roll.
Yeah. So again, Gottman, I use a lot of Gottman stuff. He talks about rituals of connection, where ideally you have about 20 to 30 minutes every day where you're kind of downloading and checking in with each other. And sometimes I'm venting about somebody at work or a project that I'm working on. Or I'm telling you like, wow, you made dinner tonight and that was so helpful because I got to just come home and just be here and I'm really grateful for that. Or to say, last night, I know that you were kidding. And when you said whatever joke, right? I know you were kidding and it hurt my feelings. And I wanted to let it go and I slept on it, but it just bugged me all day.
Yep.
Like, so having these like daily check-ins, it doesn't have to turn into, Mount Kilimanjaro or something.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So how important is nonverbal communication and body language, and what can someone do to encourage opening communication without using words necessarily?
So there's this great book, Malcolm Gladwell, Blink. Roughly 93% of our communication is nonverbal. Tone of voice, eye contact, body, what's happening from the neck down. We have these micro expressions, facial expressions, even sometimes word choice, right? The well-placed four-letter word, for example. All of that is huge. And when we're texting, tweeting, DMing, emailing, all of that gets lost.
Yeah.
Oh, well, almost all of that gets lost in the black and white letters of all of that. So nonverbal communication is huge. How can you encourage people to open up? Was that the question?
Yeah. How can you encourage someone else to communicate without necessarily saying anything?
How do you, I think occupying the same space, if you don't want to talk, then it almost becomes critical to occupy the same space. And you can say a lot just by like putting your head on somebody's shoulder or putting your hand on someone's knee. You can show a tremendous amount of support by, rubbing somebody's back, scratching their head if that's something that they're into. All of those things can show a tremendous amount of care and honor and support and connection, all non-verbally. But it does mean that the onus has to be that we're physically together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think right now in the COVID times, that's really tricky. It's something a lot of us are missing. I don't always, especially as an introvert, I don't always want to talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I sometimes wouldn't mind having a human here, but I don't want to talk to you.
Right. Sometimes it's enough to just sit there and do something next to each other, not even necessarily together.
Absolutely.
Is there any body language that closes off communication, kind of the opposite?
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think a lot of us know it when we see it. I think what we run into issues with sometimes is we don't always know we're doing it. Right? I might not necessarily realize what I'm projecting out, but I can see it in other people clear as day. Mm-hmm. This does not indicate that I am interested at all.
Yeah.
So, looking at somebody responding to their nonverbal cues. So even just then you kind of nodded, right? There are 100 things that we do that we don't necessarily say, mm-hmm. right? But you're communicating, I'm listening, this makes sense to me. This does not. This does not encourage me to want to say more.
Right. Yeah. It's especially hard over, not that we talked about Zoom with our one guest ago, whoever it was. We talked about Zoom and the difficulties of like, okay, I'm looking at you over here, but I should be looking there so that you get the eye contact. but that's not natural because I want to see your eye contact. And so it's like that part of it, I think, is really difficult in this world of COVID, especially when everyone is talking over Zoom and everyone is doing video chatting. But it's much easier in person to see those kinds of things that are like, okay, I want this conversation to end. I don't want to talk to you right now. Those sorts of cues, kinds of things.
Well, I think even with Zoom, you can watch someone's eyes and you can tell when they're looking at your image versus like, I'm over here reading a text message or paying attention to my email, not to you. And oh, look, there's some shoes on sale.
I'm just gonna get this tweet out real quick over on the side.
I think because especially there's a delayed reaction when they're not looking at you. There's a delayed reaction in the smiling, the nodding, the shaking the head, the bitch, right? Like there's
what do you mean like thin Oreos?
Yeah, exactly. There's a delayed reaction when they're not in it with you. So again, I feel like if you're just as in it as they are, now when there's more than two people, it's definitely confusing. Are you looking at me or are you looking at one of those 80 other people? Right.
Absolutely. So Fee has a question as well. She says, is it possible to change long-standing, well-established communication styles in relationships? And is it possible to do so subtly or non-confrontationally? Parent-child context specifically for me, but any context is okay for an answer.
Anything can happen. Everything is possible. I think, I don't even think it needs to be a confrontation. I think you can say, hey, I want to do this. Depending on what it is, you may not even need to have a conversation. So something that you mentioned a few minutes ago about like apologizing to children. I don't need to have a big weird conversation with my kids about how I'm gonna start apologizing to you. I just start doing it. My kids are gonna think I have two heads the first couple of times, and then they're gonna go, yeah, you're sorry, okay. And right, so I think especially with kids, the absolute most important thing for kids is consistency. When they can trust you, when they can count on you, when they can rely on you, they are safe. And that's the most important thing for them to thrive physically, mentally, all of that. Scholastically, when they can count on you, they are safe, they're okay. So if there's something in your dynamic with especially your kids that you want to change, it doesn't necessarily have to be a conflict. And I think you can even talk about it as, our family values are that we praise each other. So every day I'm going to notice something you did right today. And I'm going to invite you to do the same thing. If we want to celebrate each other's wins. So every day we're going to talk about something we did right today. So I think, especially with kids, you can talk about your family values and why you're going to make a shift, but I don't know that it needs to be a big conflict. I feel like
what about with an adult child and their parent? So if I'm communicating with my mom or my dad, and I want to change the way that dynamic is there a way to do that without saying, Mom, you've always sucked at communication and we're going to change it right now?
Okay. So this one is far more complicated scenario, because here's the deal with kids. When you're the adult and you have minors in the house, you have so much more power. When you're an adult dealing with other adults, you only get to control one side of the story. So I think depending on what the situation is, you can decide, like, this is what my boundaries are. Now, for a lot of us, and there's nothing wrong with this, but for a lot of us, we have two parents. We have ideal mommy and actual mommy. We have ideal daddy and actual daddy. And for a lot of us, there needs to come a level of acceptance of who our actual mommy and daddy are. And there's a great book, Will I Ever Be Good Enough? It's written specifically, I cannot remember the gal's name, but it's written specifically about narcissistic mothers. It's also really relevant to daughters of mothers, daughters who had mothers who had severe mental health problems or addiction. But you know, a lot of it is about accepting, like, maybe mommy or daddy can't give me this thing. Maybe they can't respect my boundaries, even if I have a really well thought out, well planned, respectful, boundary setting conversation with them. They might even say, "Yeah, sweetie, I'll do that," and then not do that. The client that I referenced earlier, basically the boundary they set in their relationship years ago was to never talk about politics. Their big fight was his mom came in hot about politics, real hot, and like out of nowhere. And like they weren't even going back and forth. She just sent him this like horrible email.
Oh, so, cool.
Yeah. Good morning. So I think that if you have parents that are open and want to talk things out with you and have demonstrated that in the past, then I think, hell yes. Again, you know, start with what you really need and then attempt to communicate it with them. However, if your actual mommy or daddy doesn't have the tools, the bandwidth, the ability, or the desire in some cases, to really hear you, then I don't know that it's worth your energy to have that kind of conversation with them. It might just be that it's time for you to adjust your expectations for that relationship.
Yeah. And you mentioned setting boundaries, and obviously sometimes they'll cross those boundaries, but I think it is important, if you are to that point, to set some boundaries and say, look, we can't talk about this. Can't talk about this.
To shut the conversation down, or even to hold back. So I'll just make something up. So let's say I have a very critical mother. There might just be things that I choose not to share with her going forward because I know she's going to criticize and give me a hard time about it. So I'm just not going to tell her. And that means that our relationship is going to be more distant. It means that there are going to be parts of my life she doesn't get to know. And that's sad for me, for sure, because I want to be able to pull her in close. But when I think about who actual mommy is, I can't. It's not safe. She's going to hurt my feelings. I've been telling her for a long time, ow, ow, that hurts, stop it. And she keeps doing it. So I have to Heisman her a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's more what I mean about setting those boundaries. Sometimes the boundary is with myself.
That's a great point. Is there an exercise you find yourself recommending to clients seeking out help with communications with their partner? You've mentioned the Gottman method, a little bit of that kind of what I want, what I need. Is there a specific exercise that you recommend to couples?
Oh, I think it depends so much on the couple and what their presenting problem is. I guess if there was one thing that I tell all couples that I work with is to slow down. You know, we have 2 ears and one mouth. So slow down and listen harder.
I like that. If you're in a conflict with your partner, what are some things to avoid in your communications? And we kind of touched on that a little bit. But are there any things that you can say or do differently when you're in more of a heated discussion than you would in a day-to-day conversation?
Yeah. So criticizing, making fun of, calling names. We all know what our partner's buttons are. If you're in a place where you're dying to push those buttons, shut up, go to bed. Because, you're not going to get your needs met. If what I really need is for you to hear me, what I really, really need is for you to modify your behavior, I'm not going to get that by making you feel small or belittled or unloved. So I think step one is really like getting right with me. I need to deal with my stuff. And sometimes I'm mad and it has nothing to do with my partner. And so, you said something earlier that I thought was really important about, apologizing doesn't mean the whole thing was my fault, but I have to take responsibility for my part in any conflict. And if I'm not willing to do that, we're not going to get real far in this. So taking responsibility for my part, and maybe my part is I came home from work today in a crappy mood and I was snippy with you and you didn't deserve that. Mm-hmm. I also need you to pick up the damn socks. Talk about it. Mm-hmm. Right? Like I feel disrespected when every day I come home from work and there's shit all over the floor. Help me. So I think slowing down, right? I said a few minutes ago, slow down and listen harder. Mm-hmm. And part of the slow down is for me. I need to slow down. I need to calm down. I need to manage my anger. I need to manage my anxiety, because if I haven't at least gotten a decent grip on those before I approach you, we're just going to ratchet each other up. And then paying attention. So without getting too deep into your nervous system and what happens in your body, but the more upset you get, the more your brain starts to go into fight, flight, or freeze. Mm-hmm. And if you're in fight, flight, or freeze, you are not going to communicate effectively. You're not going to listen well, and your needs aren't going to get met. And your partner is either also going to get upset and escalated, or they're going to be standing there like, I don't get why you're upset at all. I don't get it. And so nobody's going to get what they want. Once you start to feel like your blood pressure go up and your body temperature go up and you're sweating in the stress places, it's time for you to slow down and take care of yourself, mm-hmm. because you're no longer in your body. You're no longer communicating effectively.
Yeah. I'm a freezer and then a flyer. I'm not sure which spelling it is, quite honestly. My brain power is not there today. It's Monday. Like it's hard to get in that freeze moment. I am more of a lasher outer for sure. In a relationship, like if you come at me, I'm going to come back harder. That's my tendency. And I had to really coax myself out of that quite a bit. But it was I definitely had days where like my tags on my shirt were bothering me. Like, and I would come home and it'd be like, everything is awful today. And I really, there was definitely a benefit of me just saying like, I'm having a touched out day. And if you come near me, I might just bite your head off for no reason whatsoever. Mm-hmm. But I think articulating that helped us quite a bit. But yeah, it's the fight, flight, freeze, fawn. What is the fawn part? I'm not sure what that is. Can we normalize safe words for arguments? Like sometimes you need a timeout, not because you don't feel the discussion has value, but because you can't give it value right now. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, again, when you're in that place, you're not going to listen well, mm-hmm. and you're also not going to effectively communicate your own needs. So that's one of the things that I tried really early on with most of my couples is to literally have them practice how they're going to ask for what they need. If what I need is a break, I take responsibility that I need a break. I don't tell you, you're too upset. I don't want to talk to you when you're this upset. Or you're not listening to me, I'm done. It's about me. I'm too upset. I can't communicate with you effectively. I need a break. Can we try again in 2 hours? Mm-hmm. Can we try again tomorrow? But make it about me and my needs. And then I go take care of myself. Maybe I need to run. Maybe I need to take a shower. Maybe I need to go break something. But whatever that is, I need to go take care of me, slow down and deal with myself.
Yeah. Fawning it. People. Oh, okay. All right. I understand. Okay. Accepting the blame, people pleasing. Okay. I understand what you mean by fawning now. And when I was first talking trying to train myself out of being a fighter, I went the opposite direction into what you're saying right there. And I had to bring myself back to the middle. Like, that's not good either. Let's come back. Let's do a swing. Swing this way. Yeah.
I think, and this isn't something that I think particularly, I mean, not to kind of gender stereotype, but I think especially women are not taught how to be assertive often. And so this idea that I can stand up for myself, I can tell you what I need, but I can do it kindly, I can do it respectfully. Oh shit, that's scary, because so often women that do that are called bitches or cold, or I get called direct a lot, which I'm trying to kind of rebrand into very positive.
I think it's a good thing.
yeah. Sometimes it's meant as a compliment, other times it's not, and that's fine. But we aren't really taught how to do that, especially in the South. So I totally understand I'm just going to tell you that everything's okay. But I kind of go back to that's sort of like signing up for death by 1,000 cuts, because okay, if I stuff it now, this is still going to be a problem next week, and I'm going to be butthurt about it, and then something else is going to happen, and I'm going to stuff that, and then at some point your feelings matter too, your needs matter, and if whoever you're in the relationship with, whether it's platonic or romantic, if they really love you, they also want your needs to get met. And it is really hard. It's hard to be assertive. It's hard to confront. It's hard to ask for what you need. It's hard to be vulnerable. None of those things are easy. And if you want the relationship to work, then you have to do those things. Otherwise, your resentment will become toxic.
I have the instinct to try to win the fight by saying the most hurtful thing possible, but logical brain knows that's a bad idea. I try to stop before I say things, because it's just going to be bad for everyone if I don't. Some people, though, are obsessed with not stopping the discussion. And man, I'm not trying to stop for me. I'm trying to stop for you. Yes. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that too. Yeah. I struggle with not being able to take a break from a discussion. Once I push past the vulnerability, anxiety, I get into resolve closure mode.
I want to feel better, and that's anxiety. And people that want to fight till it's over, like fight through it, that's about anxiety, because I'm afraid to sit in this wound. It's hard to sit in this wound. It's really scary to sit in this unresolved, hey, we've named that shit's not okay place. That's really, 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 really hard.
Yeah. When should a couple seek additional help versus trying to manage on their own? Just generally speaking.
I think that so the average couple waits 6 years into crisis mode before they seek professional help. Yeah. And so you can imagine why, like, there's the statistics on marriage counseling aren't great, because people will wait so damn long. So I think, I guess the rule of thumb is, what have I tried? If I've exhausted everything else I can think of, then it's time to think about couples counseling. I tried to sit down with you. We've tried to calmly talk it out. That didn't work. We read a book. We listened to a podcast. We whatever, right? There's a lot of different ways that people try. If you've been trying and the same problem is there, and it doesn't feel like you guys are, I don't want to say resolving it, because there will be issues throughout your relationship that never get fully resolved, whether it's your mother-in-law or whatever, right? There will always be things that you're constantly having to work through. So I don't want to use the word resolved, because that makes it seem like there's a magic solution to everything, and there's often not. But I think if you feel like this thing is driving you guys apart, then it's time to think about it.
Yeah. I can't believe people wait 6 years.
And by the way, that's an average.
That's a lot. That's a long, like my ex-husband and I, we went to couples counseling Pretty quick after I found out that there was a major problem. Because I just didn't know beforehand, and I was like, oh, look, we can fix this. Let's go fix it. I'm also a fixer, though, so that might have something to do with it. And I'm like, what we're doing isn't working. We're going to find a way to make it work. But obviously it didn't. It didn't help. So maybe the issue had been there for much longer than I knew. And it had been 6 years. Who knows? I'll never get the truth out of that one. So there's that.
Well, and it's hard because people change over time, right? And so what worked for me 6 years ago might not work for me today.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. That's a long time for an average. Because that means some people wait way longer.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
What kinds of situations or markers would you consider to be a signal of a relationship being in crisis mode, but the people in the relationship haven't realized it yet? That's a good question.
You're not fighting anymore. You're so over it, you don't even care enough to fight. You are checked out. At that point, I don't want to say, like, I can't do anything, but it's real hard. If you don't give a shit anymore, I can't. Like, there's no amount of therapy that can give you that give a shit back.
Yeah, because you're not going to put the work in.
Right.
Yeah.
Hands down. That is that when one or both of them come in and they're like, yeah, it's fine. I'll know it's over. Like, we're going to have maybe 6-8 sessions. Maybe.
Yeah.
Now, when they come in and they yell in the first session, I'm like, okay, there's a lot I can work with here. I can do this. All right. You gotta lower your voice.
Right.
You got neighbors, but
we got to be quieter.
I can do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Small horse.
I swear I just saw something walk behind me.
Yeah.
Oh, it's small horse. It's a good way to put it. He is very tall. We joke around that he's like a deer because his legs are so long.
There you go.
Oh, it's the end for Kevin and I. We don't fight. Did you fight before? Like, I think that it's like the change, right? It's not just that you don't fight. It's a change from either trying and arguing and trying to get points across and trying to communicate, and then just not communicating anymore all of a sudden.
Yeah, and I should be more clear too. I mean, when I say fight, I don't, like, there are couples that are just quiet. Like, honestly, if you're yelling at me, you've already lost.
Yeah.
I'm checked out. So a fight with me doesn't look like fishwiving it, right? Conflict, if a couple isn't willing to go, hey, that hurt, I don't like it, let's talk. That's conflict. It's not a fight, but it's conflict. Sure. I should have been more clear. I'm sorry. If a couple isn't willing to conflict anymore, it's done.
Yeah. Are you saying their give a damn is busted? Joe, I think that's exactly what it is. Their give a damn is busted for sure.
Yep. I can't fix the give a damn.
Yeah, nope.
I don't have a budget for that.
He's really conflict averse, so we never fought. We just both got more and more unhappy, and then I was like, I can't live like this. And that was kind of the breaking point for you, was the I can't live like this. And then you guys started talking about it? Is that where that went?
Hopefully.
Yep. There you go. Good.
Because it starts to become toxic. Yeah. And conflict is hard. You have to get really vulnerable. You have to talk about what you need. You have to talk about what hurts. In order to have a really effective, fruitful conflict, you have to be vulnerable.
She said, I told him straight up, I don't want to be in a relationship with you if we're just miserable, but in the same place. So we can't just wait for external things to get better. Yeah. Yeah.
You tell him.
Yeah. I'm glad that worked. I'm glad that worked for you, Fee. I'm glad that worked out for both of you. I think that was a good thing for you to communicate. And I'm glad that he was able to listen. Autumn says, I've been in relationships where the red flags from their prior relationship weren't obvious to my partner, but they were hella obvious to me. It's easier to see some things outside than it is inside sometimes.
Well, yeah. And when we're really into somebody, we don't want to see those red flags.
Right. You ignore a lot.
Yes, we want to see what they do right. We want to see what they could be. We want to see their best self. And we do that. I mean, I last year I did it in a professional relationship where I hired somebody that I thought, oh my gosh, this could be okay. And I ignored a lot of red flags because I wanted it to be okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it wasn't.
Right. Yeah, I talked a lot about red flags on Laugh for Purpose podcast, actually, whenever I was on his podcast. We talked a lot about red flags that I wish I hadn't ignored and that pointed to some really bad shit that went down. And I was just ignoring them. I was like, no, I'll look at all this good stuff.
Right.
Look at all the great. Look at all this great over here. So.
Well, we're in it. We're committed to the success of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially
Absolutely.
Once you have a family, you want it to work. I've got real stuff invested in this working, and I want it to. So I'm just going to see what I want to see.
Yes, absolutely. Put on those blinders.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the light parts.
Really, really easily done.
Yeah, absolutely. Are there any regular habits that you either maintain yourself or that you encourage your clients to develop that you feel like might not get enough attention? We talk a lot about sleep and eating right and exercise, but things that support overall well-being that might not be immediately obvious.
Well, I'm sure that this isn't groundbreaking. Sorry, your cat is so cute.
I know. He pulls, if I stop petting him. So the deer dog does the same thing. If you've been petting him and you stop, he takes his paw and he pulls it back to him.
That's good. He's asking for what he needs.
He is, yes.
He's being assertive. I'm sure that you guys have talked about this. Mindfulness techniques like meditation are huge. Mm-hmm. Just the conscious practice of sitting where I am and accepting like there is shit I cannot change. All I can do right now is focus on my breath, and that's all I need to do right now. And there's a lot of mindfulness practices too around what do I need, what feels good, what's the next most right thing, that I think are really powerful. So I'm a big fan of mindfulness. The other thing, and this one's a real challenge for me because I like junk food, but you know, we have a gut brain. And so what we put in our bodies has a huge impact on our mental health. So really paying attention to your nutrition. And I have a tendency to tell people to add, not subtract. So I'm not a big believer in crash diets or elimination diets unless you've got some health concerns that mean that that's necessary. That's not what I'm talking about. But if you really like junk food, then what I normally tell people to do is not to take that out, but to put healthy shit in too. Mm-hmm. Just eat your healthy shit, and then you can have the junk food if you still need it. And just to you know, gut. Yeah, we've definitely talked about how physical health and mental health and all of that is tied together, and one can impact the other and vice versa. You are too much. You are too much. No surprise that I raised a very affectionate and somewhat needy kitty. The assertiveness is a bit surprising though. Well, that's because he's mine. The assertiveness is from me, and my sister raised him from a tiny newborn kitten and then needed a home for him. So he came to me. So he gets the neediness of my sister, the physical affection neediness of my sister, and the you better give it to me now from me. But yeah, I think I'm telling you.
Yeah, gut health is a really important thing that a lot of people do definitely overlook. And I like the idea of adding something instead of just subtracting and taking away, something like that.
Well, I'm a big believer in not shaming people about food or giving them a hard time about food. If that makes you feel better, I mean, again, we talked about earlier about like self-care. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes that includes eating vegetables.
Yes, absolutely.
But sometimes it also means eating cake.
Mhm.
And so I don't tell people not to do that. If that's what you need,
Yeah.
that is really what you need, do that. Also have a salad.
Yeah. Well, that's what I do with my kids too. They'll ask for, right now it's Girl Scout cookies because it's Girl Scout cookie season, and so they're saying, you know, can I have
time for my Thin Mints?
cookies? It is time for your Thin Mints. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And my niece is selling them. If you want a link, there's a link in the chat.
Okay.
Although I'm sure they're at Walmart or Kroger or wherever down there also. But
they sell their
yes, yeah, 100%. They'll ask for Girl Scout cookies, and I'm going, okay, what's the last time you ate a vegetable? You haven't eaten one today? Go eat 5 carrots, and then you can have cookies. It's fine. Like, you have to get the carrots first.
Right.
At least that way I know that you have eaten a vegetable and your body has those minerals and vitamins that it needs.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you talked about as a kid wanting to be a lawyer and everything, but if you weren't doing what you do now, or if you had chosen a different path, do you think that you would have been a lawyer? Do you think that as an adult you would have picked something different?
I don't know. I really wanted, when I was a kid, I really wanted to help people. But I also really, really liked physics, specifically like electricity.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if like mental health and law were out, it might have been an electrician,
Mm-hmm.
or because I really like a lot of practical skills that I don't but long for and appreciate in other people. I think, yeah, electrical engineering or
Mm-hmm.
an electrician, I think those would be very interesting to me. I also like the idea of being able to wear a jumpsuit every day to work.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, that sounds nice. Work boots and a jumpsuit.
Mm-hmm.
Laundry would be so simple.
Yes, it would. It definitely would. Mm-hmm. Right?
No dry clean only.
Yeah, no kidding. Although right now I just don't go anywhere, so I haven't had to get anything dry cleaned in a long time.
Yeah. I haven't in a while. It's good.
It is. I live in leggings, and then sometimes I put on a nice shirt. They don't have to see my leggings.
Nope.
Not at all. Okay, so it is time for the, probably shouldn't say Disney, but I'm going to say Disney anyway. It's time for the Disney magic moment. So I have a magic wand here that I'm going to turn to not quite so intense. And I'm going to hand this to you through the camera, and you get to wave it. And you get to eliminate one common opinion, misconception, or theory surrounding mental illness, disabilities, or talking about mental health. What is that going to be that you would like to eliminate today? And I'll just give it a little wave here.
Being in therapy is about being crazy. Maybe. Or especially for couples, that going to therapy means that we did something wrong, or we can't hack it, or we aren't going to make it.
Yeah. Only crazy people need therapy. Yes. That's a good way that would be a great one to eliminate, because everyone could benefit from a little therapy.
Yes.
Whether you have a diagnosable mental illness or not, therapy is great.
Yeah, that is not a necessity. And I think it hurts my heart every time I hear a client say, like, well, I'm here, so I'm obviously crazy. Like, well, what is crazy? And I mean, if you're crazy, I am too. I'm also in therapy. And one of my colleagues says, you know, if you ever run across a therapist who's not in therapy themselves, don't walk, run in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Fast, real fast.
I like that. I mean, I truly, even though I do have mental illness, and so it's like, I see a therapist and it is very helpful, but even whenever it wasn't about a mental illness, it was still very helpful to just kind of have a little bit of a gut check on what you're thinking, what your thought process has been, and a place to get things out a little bit in a kind of a safe space. So I like that. We do have another community question, and that is, what is a nice non-confrontational way to ask your partner to listen to you instead of deciding what you are going to say?
Yeah. Like, I think that means that your partner tries to finish your sentence or goes, oh yeah, I know what you mean. I think that's what that question is about. I think that you can say, you probably know exactly what I'm going to say, but I just need you to hear me out. I just need to say this, and I need to know that you heard it. And again, you're making it about you. You're not like finger wagging. You're not telling them, you always do this. That kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that also goes a little bit back to, if they're willing to rephrase back what you said, that probably would be beneficial. Is there a nice way to ask someone to say, like, did you hear what I said?
My therapist told me to tell you that you need to. I think that you could probably say, I would like to offer this to you, and I would love it if you could do it with me as well. I think that's a respectful way to say, I want us to do this from now on.
Yeah. I think that's great.
And especially when you're not saying, hey, you're doing this wrong and that's why you have to try harder. Mm-hmm. When you're saying, I want to do a better job of making sure that I understand where you're coming from, and I'd really appreciate it if you did it with me.
Yeah. I think that's great. Well, if anyone has any other questions they want to ask our guests tonight, feel free to go ahead and put them in the chat. I'm also going to pop her socials in here again. So this is her website, her Instagram, her Facebook, and the e-course that we were talking about at the very beginning. Links to all of those are in the chat now. And with that, I will just kind of open it to you and say, if there's anything that we didn't talk about while we're waiting on other questions, or resources you want to talk about, or anything, I'll just open the floor to you and let you have the mic.
Okay. Now I'm afraid I'm going to start rambling. Just a mindfulness technique or practice that I teach a lot of people is that feelings are like farts. They don't need to be judged. They often pass. If they don't pass for a long time, it's probably worth seeing a professional. Mm-hmm. But that when you're gassy, you don't usually judge yourself for being gassy. So to try not to judge yourself for having any particular feelings at any given time.
That is such a good analogy. I love it.
Yay, fart jokes.
Yeah. Listen, I have 2 very gassy children. So it's constantly a gas fest around here. And if I can relate something to farts with them, that's a good thing to relate because they'll understand it. Farts is self-care. One of my emotes is about farting. Because you gotta let it out. Like, it's not good to hold stuff in. That is one of the things. Like, it's not good. It's not good to hold things inside for too long. You gotta let it out. So that is one of my channel emotes, is a fart emote with a little fox smelling a little green cloud.
Oh. And much like a fart, there's an appropriate time and place for feelings, and there is an appropriate and an inappropriate time and place for farts. The bathroom is a designated no judgment, let it rip zone. The dinner table, no.
Yeah. Also, coming over to your mother and purposefully putting your butt on her and then farting is a no.
That's not nice.
We had to work on that one just recently.
But then also being able to have compassion with yourself. Sometimes you bend over and they just fall out.
Yep.
And that sucks. That is
it happens though.
of walking into Walgreens and someone asking you how your day goes and then bursting into tears. It's the same thing.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm fine. I mean, I'm not fine, but I just want the gum. Can I go, please?
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
really here for the medicine. Can I just go?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. The best is whenever they ask you when you're at like there to get something related to flu medicine or something else, and they're like, how are you? And you're like, really? Right.
It's Imodium, not chocolate.
Yes,
How do you think I'm doing?
Mm-hmm. Also, give me the chocolate. I need the chocolate also. Give me both. No, I love that. I think that that's a great analogy. I think that it's a great thing that everyone can relate to also.
Everyone farts.
Everyone farts. Absolutely true. Well, thank you so much, Nicole. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. And y'all give me just a minute. That's a wrap on today's episode. I hope something in that conversation with Nicole gave you a moment of clarity, or maybe just reminded you that you're not the only one trying to figure this stuff out. Communication in relationships isn't about saying the perfect thing. It's about doing the best you can, showing up honestly, and being willing to keep learning. What really stuck with me from this chat was how much impact it makes when we slow down and actually check in with ourselves before we go into a conversation. Like, what am I really upset about here? Is it the thing on the surface, or is it something deeper that hasn't been named yet? Nicole said something that hit hard. If your partner keeps repeating themselves, it probably means they don't feel heard. That's such a simple idea, but explains a lot of the cycles we all get stuck in. And saying, I feel, I want, I need, it can sound a little cheesy at first, but it's a powerful way to cut through the noise and speak clearly. Whether you're trying to repair a disconnect, set a boundary, or just express something vulnerable, that format gives you a way to stay grounded without launching into blame or shutting down completely. And look, if you're listening and thinking, I don't even know where to start, that's okay. This is hard stuff. Communication isn't one of those things you learn once and then you're set for life. It's something we keep practicing, especially in relationships that matter. If today's episode helped you or made you think of someone who could use a little relationship support right now, please share it. Text it to a friend, drop it in your group chat, whatever works. And if you've got a minute, please take the time to like, subscribe, and leave a review or a comment wherever you're listening. Especially if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That really helps more folks find the show, and it means a lot to me. You can also check out the show website at tacosfallapart.com. There you'll find ways to connect, tons of resources, and info on upcoming guests and topics. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Take care of yourself, check in with the people you care about, and remember, communication isn't about getting it perfect. It's about being willing to try again. I'll catch you next time.